All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we've done Denver, we've done Chicago, we've done New York City. Now it's time to expose Austin public schools because I want to show you guys, to prove to you guys that this is not just happening in more liberal areas, even though Austin is more of a liberal area in Texas. But I want to show you guys that it's also happening in places like Texas that really most kids are not safe from this no matter where you live. Race talks. This is where it all started. Just as with New York City, I had to find this one thing and then whoosh, it just all opens up. There's so much after you find this one thing. And that one thing for Austin was race talks. I thought, oh boy, let me look into this. So I clicked on it and it led me to this page and it says, in this month's race talks, we will continue to engage in racial conversations as we explore our own pushbacks and triggers and name systemic barriers that form as a result. How can we choose to still engage to dismantle inequities? We don't know what we don't know. Come prepared to listen and share. Let's agree to stay in the conversation to talk about race. If you're going to this, can you please tell me what's going on? Because I want to be able to know exactly what they're saying within those race talks and see exactly what they're teaching these kids. There's some key words that we always have to look for within our schools because we need to protect our kids, and that's words like equity, inclusion, diversity, race, systemic. Those are all some of the big words that we need to look out for. And of course, there's many, many more. And an Austin ISD Chief Equity Officer addresses education inequities amid the Black Lives Matter conversations. And here's a video from this news story.
Black Lives Matter protesters brought up many concerns as they marched through cities across the nation. One of the issues, systemic racism in school systems. KV's Mari Salazar spoke with Austin's ISD Chief Equity Officer about how the school district fights the problem.
The conversation about systemic racism is ongoing, and things like the pandemic and Black Lives Matter protests have magnified inequities in school systems.
The work is about helping people develop their equity lens so that when I'm not in the room, they can ask key questions. Which groups are not benefiting from the system as is currently designed?
That's Dr. Stephanie Hawley, Austin ISD's Chief Equity Officer. She was hired in 2019 amid the school changes controversy. Austin ISD's Board of Trustees going ahead with the vote that closed 4 schools with predominantly more Black and brown students. Hawley says her team helps the AISD community get the tools they need to make equitable decisions. But that comes with many challenges, especially because her work can get personal.
Having to have difficult conversations with people about damage that they didn't intend, about the impact of the system, about the impact of policies.
Austin ISD is trying to do its best, or is intending to do its best.
Austin ISD parent Cuitlahuac Mojaro says he's familiar with AISD closures in his East Austin neighborhood.
But they're just moving forward on enacting policies that are harmful to students and harmful to communities, and not listening to the communities when they're given a chance to put in input. It just gets really frustrating.
It's one of the many issues he's noticed regarding school inequities. Another one the pandemic highlighted, low-income families struggling when it comes to online learning.
Not every student has Wi-Fi, not every student has a device, then that's also an aspect of systemic racism.
So I don't know if you guys heard that, but within the video, they bring on a parent who I have to say is probably not the greatest parent in the world, but I don't know much about them. I just have seen that one clip, but by judging them through that one clip, they are not the sort of parent I would want to have. But if you watch that clip and you notice something very, very small, which actually, if you go through the whole thing, it's very racist, because he says, the parent says that, a lot of kids don't have devices, they can't get online, and that's a very sad thing to hear. But when you hear them say, the parent say, and then everybody agrees with him, when you hear him say that it's an aspect of systemic racism, well, those same people say that only minorities can experience systemic racism. Therefore, they're implying that all minorities are poor. Another thing is, these are the same people that say that hard work is whiteness. It's white. It's also showing up is white. Showing up on time is white. It's so racist what these people do. And I can't believe that this guy went on and actually thought he was doing something good. And forget about the parent, because that's more individual stuff. That's one guy doing something. But it's the person, the equity officer at these Austin public schools, actually agreeing with him and saying the exact same stuff and teaching this to all the kids, saying we need to make equitable decisions. What does that even mean? Then we have the cultural proficiency and inclusiveness in AISD. It talks about how adults can be culturally inclusive, which is strange to think about, especially in America, when we are literally the melting pot of the world, to then be told that we are not inclusive. So they talk about that, and then at the bottom you can see that it says Austin ISD Council on Race and Equity. The Austin ISD Council on Race and Equity was formed as a principals council in the 2013 to 2014 school year. Isn't that strange that it's been going on for so long? It's like they've been setting up just for this year for it to all unfold and unravel into this massive pile of trash that they love to teach these kids and corrupt their minds with. After principals attended an Undoing Racism workshop at the Keeling Middle School in June 2013, the Race and Equity Council now includes various stakeholders, continues to meet quarterly, and are dedicated to building their capacity using the equity lens as a mirror into their work. The goal of the council is to grow the number of Austin ISD staff who approach work with students and their families using the equity lens as a mirror. So that's very strange, but how about this? How about No Place for Hate? IASD's Whole Child / Every Child is a focus which includes a plan for integrating the Anti-Defamation League's No Place for Hate campaign. So I decided to take a look into the ADL's No Place for Hate campaign and see exactly what they're teaching these kids through the ADL. So apparently you can register your own schools to all of this. You can register your school to be part of the ADL or to work with ADL with the No Place for Hate campaign and to teach these kids, which is very strange to actually register your kids to, or have your school register your kids into something like this and then teach them from the ADL. Here's a very important piece that we should all remember, and this is what we should remember to look into our own schools and see exactly if we have this or not. It says, as the 2019-2020 school year came to a close, ADL Austin designated over 360 schools as No Place for Hate. 360 schools. But that's only in Austin. I mean, it says Austin designated over 360 schools. How many schools are using this No Place for Hate campaign? Well, it says the No Place for Hate promise. So I want to take a look into the both elementary and middle school and high school No Place for Hate campaigns. So starting off with the elementary one, it just lists 5 things that they go through. Number 1 is, I promise to do my best to treat everyone fairly. That sounds pretty good. Number 2, I promise to do my best to be kind to everyone, even if they are not like me. I agree, but I don't get why they insinuate that kids are always going to treat people differently because of the color of their skin. Because I know for sure that if you would have talked to me about race when I was a kid, I had no idea what you were talking about. For most kids, that's a completely foreign concept because kids don't care about race. Most people don't care about race, but for some reason, the ADL and these schools, your schools, my schools, everybody's schools, wants to make people think that race is actually important in any way, shape, or form. Number 3, if I see someone being hurt or bullied, I will tell the teacher. Okay. Number 4, everyone should be able to feel safe and happy in school. Okay. Number 5, I want our school to be no place for hate. Well, the problem is that we cannot let people who have no moral compass decide what the word hate means. Because what does hate mean? Well, it's a very vaguely defined word. We all can have different definitions of hate. And when we have people like this that are teaching our kids to be equitable and inclusive, when inclusive literally means, okay, all the whites stay over there, all the blacks stay over there. That's exactly what it means. I've seen it at tons of schools now. They want to segregate kids, literally segregate kids on the basis of race and say, okay, if you're black, you're going over there. If you're white, you're going over there. You know, we'll tell all the parents that we're all talking to each other and we're all being inclusive, but inclusive is literally code word. It's like this little secret code word for segregation. And I don't mean that lightly at all. We can't let these people define what hate is. So then going to the middle school and high school aspect of things says, number one, I will seek to gain understanding of those who are different from myself. The problem is, once again, they're talking about race. Why should any middle schooler or high schooler care about race? They shouldn't, but they're being taught to care about race. I think that everyone should seek to understand everyone who's different from themselves in a aspect of a maybe difference of thought. That would be a better way to look at things than difference of race. Number two, I will speak out against prejudice and discrimination. Okay. Number three, I will reach out to support those who are targets of hate. Once again, what does hate mean? We can't let these people define what the word hate means. Hate is a very, very strong word. And if we let these people define what it is, then they're going to use every aspect of it. They're going to change the definition to literally go against everything that is against their own opinion. Number four, I will promote respect for people and help foster a prejudice-free school. Okay. Number five, I believe that one person can make a difference. No person can be an innocent bystander when it comes to opposing hate. That's their thing that they love to promote, is that you can't be an innocent bystander. Yes, you can. And I think that when you define hate, when you let these people define what hate is, then you can absolutely be an innocent bystander. Because think about Antifa. What does Antifa define as hate? Antifa, Black Lives Matter, put them together. Basically same thing. They're all violent. They all do the same thing. Let's put them together. What do they define as hate? Well, they're definitely fascist, that's for sure. If you have a different opinion, we need to shut you down. We need to assault you. We cannot let your ideas be spread, is their whole way of thought. And if they label your ideas as hateful, then you can absolutely be an innocent bystander, because you can't label ideas hateful and then want them to be shut down. That's not how it works. At least not in America. That's not gonna happen here, no. Number six, I recognize that respecting individual dignity and promoting intergroup harmony are the responsibilities of all students. Then there is this little letter from the Austin ISD equity officer. One part that I wanna highlight is the part where they say, I believe we are all in different places of understanding our key roles as conscious racial and social equity leaders at AISD. But ultimately, we are all in agreement that supporting our students' social and emotional well-being and academic success are our highest priorities. Not true. Sorry, that's not true. When you teach kids to literally care about race more than they do about their schoolwork, which their schoolwork already generally Common Core, which Common Core is not very good. Most of the schooling nowadays is not good, even without the indoctrination. But you do not care about academic achievement. Of course, this was to the parents, obviously. They probably sent it out to all the parents. And then they go, oh, academic success for the students is the most important thing to us. Oh, sure. Even though I find one little race talk thing, and then it opens up this whole disgusting cavern of all this trash that you teach these kids, but you hide it from the parents. What are you talking about? You're lying to the parents. These people are lying to the parents, saying, oh, we care about academic success. No, you don't. You don't. You care about the success of your own ideologies. That's all you care about. Then I found this. Equity in Austin Independent School District. So I decided to look through this a little bit. It's just one page, but it was a PDF that I found. So this is the executive summary. The purpose of the Equity Project is to review and assist AISD district and campus staff, stakeholders, and the Austin community to understand the current environment, self-identity, areas of concern, organized change, and improvements, facilitate dialogue among the different stakeholders, build accountability, and instill greater understanding and commitment to addressing equity and the explicit goal of leading to equitable opportunities and outcomes for all students. What does equitable mean? That's the thing. We have to look at the two definitions. We have equality and we have equity. What's a better definition? Well, I'll tell you that they used to use the word equality, which was a good word for them to use because it is clearly defined and it's actually a very good word. I want equality. But when they use equity, it's not a very clearly defined word. It's very vague, and that's why they use it. I believe that's why they use it, because it is so vague that they can make up their own definition for it. It is so vague. Just look it up. I'll have it up here on screen. That is a very vague definition. And once again, race does not matter. I do not care about race, and if you're teaching kids to care about race, then you're gonna get some really tribalistic, annoying people that will segregate themselves on the basis of race. And they will need to feel as if they need to treat people differently on the basis of race, which I thought was the exact opposite thing you wanted to do. Didn't these people want to make it so that we all were treated fairly? But then we all look at each other's races. It just doesn't make sense. And I wanted to add this as well because it's not just Austin, obviously. I'm sure it's in many other cities as well in Texas. I have to take a look into that. So if you guys have any recommendations for any other cities you would want me to take a look into to expose them potentially, then please put it in the comments down below. But it's also happening in Plano independent schools as well, where an article was written by the Texas Scoreboard where it goes, radical Marxist documents shared in school district. And it gives a list of books for these kids to read: Guerrilla Warfare by Che Guevara, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the Communist Manifesto. They're teaching the Communist Manifesto in a good light in schools. Sure, not in Austin public schools, but I wanted to take a look at this because this is also important. These schools are very interconnected in their ways of learning. And it's actually kind of strange how much they are interconnected, as if it was done on purpose. And thank you to Robert Montoya for writing that article, because we need more people like this to do actual good journalism. How about the curriculum? Because that's a very important part of it. We should all be able to see the curriculum. It should be right out in the open, accessible on the front page. We should be able to find it. Oh, let's take a look at this though. The curriculum page has nothing about the curriculum. It says how great the curriculum is, but what are we supposed to learn from that? We need to know what's in the curriculum, not how good the curriculum is. So try looking for the curriculum. I can't find it. Maybe you guys can. But when I'm actively trying to find the curriculum, and the thing is, most parents won't take the time to look for the curriculum themselves, and that's the thing. It should be accessible on the front page of the school website, but it isn't. I had to look for it on another part of the website, which was not even connected to the main part of the website. If I'm trying to look for it, if I'm really trying to look for the curriculum, then how are we supposed to expect that a parent knows anything about the curriculum at all when they can't find it themselves? When I was talking about how interconnected everything seems to be within these schools, I decided to look up and see if they had any equity literacy, just as the New York City public schools did. And sure enough, they did, which seems to further prove to me that there's something going on in which they're all using the same sort of curriculum. And you can see this page right here, Equity Literacy Institute, which they're all learning from in Austin public schools. The funny thing is that number 6, it says, fix injustice, not kids. Oh really? Why are you fixing kids to think one way? Why don't you actually fix yourself? Because you're the only injustice. These people are the only injustice I see. These kids are literally innocent people. And you are fixing these kids to think one way. You're fixing these kids to think unjustly. It's just very ironic. So this is all I have right now. All of this. For even in Texas, you can find this stuff. And sure, yes, it's Austin, a more liberal area, but that doesn't matter. They're still teaching our kids this. It doesn't matter if it's a liberal area or not. It doesn't matter if it's New York City or Austin, Texas or Dallas. It doesn't matter. We all need to fix this stuff. We all need to do something about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and share. Go check out these 2 videos you see right now up on screen. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.